Welcome to Top Sim. Tonight we are finally getting to the Automobilista 2 GT3 update that also corresponded with the release of the Nurburgring GT course. We're still waiting on the Nordschleife. I don't know how long we have in the wait department as far as that goes. But we do have some great content already at our fingertips, and that is the GT3 car from Automobilista 2. The one problem, I think it's safe to jump into it right away from the beginning. There's no shying away from it. AMS2 suffers severely from its AI performance. And they've made an improvement between the update that actually released the GT3 car, and right now they did make an update that involved a hot fix for the AI in a straight line. But this isn't where I've had problems with the AI in AMS2 before. The problem is in the corners. They chop aggressively in the corners to get the optimal line through, and they really don't care who they compromise in the process. And, you know, they're AI, it's not like they should care. And I've come up with a little bit of a workaround, a fix, the thing that I've done to make do with the AI. There are a couple things that I think are key. Number one, I've drastically reduced the size of the field that I like to race in when it comes to AMS2. I like to have a larger field. I'd rather have crazy 2 to 3 car passes and also getting stuck behind 2 to 3 cars, not being able to get in front of cars that you know you're faster than, rather than having a race that might be more competitive in terms of lap times, but you're sitting in this position of, you know, having several laps of hot lapping essentially in a race of just a big gap between you and the car in front of you and the car behind you. And so in order to combat that, I like to have a more exciting jam-packed race. When it comes to AMS2, I've learned that you need to do the opposite with that. So I've lowered the field from something where I like around from 30 to something closer to about 10 now. 10 is a very much more comfortable, a lot more elbow room on the track kind of solution, I think, to having that many cars. It kind of eliminates the problem of not having enough space in the corners. But just like that, you'll see a guy, you know, made contact with me, and right there kind of getting in front of me in a place that he didn't really belong. You know, a real player would have never made that decision. And then part number two, that corresponds to reduce the field size, that kind of goes hand in hand into what, you know, we just saw with this Porsche in front of us, is that you need to be okay with a little bit more aggressive style of racing. If you're wanting a very super realistic, hyper realistic, maybe even contactless way that you would race a real life car, a real life GT3 car, if you got behind it, you're looking for R Factor 2. But if you're looking for something that is more fun, that has a little bit more jokeability, not jokeability, it doesn't take itself as seriously, I guess, is the feel of the car, the feel of the track, the feel of the race you get from its AI is not as serious as something like R Factor 2. That being said, I don't want to detract away from what I said right at the beginning about how amazing these cars feel to drive. They are very fun to drive. They have a great feel about them. I've never driven a real GT3 car. I'm not even the most experienced GT3 car driver in sim racing land. However, there's no denying that these cars feel good. They feel fun. They feel the way that you would expect a car that is so popular, the GT series is so popular, you feel the classic way that a GT3 series car should perform in a sim race, in a sim racer. So I have no complaints with that. But my complaints that I hope it, you know, just provides the context into saying that when I was talking about the racing and how you need to take it a little bit less seriously than R Factor racing, I wasn't trying to say it's more on the simcade spectrum. I was just trying to say that between the actual action between the cars themselves, you need to tamp back your expectations a little bit. Now, looking forward, this does really make me think about what future AMS2 has, specifically in the GT series, the GT3, GT4 series of racing, that it hasn't been present with in the past. I think in the past we've all, really been familiar with Automobilista 2 as kind of this open-wheeled based, historic open-wheel kind of game that had all of these options, and as well as some pretty kooky, esoteric kind of other choice of vehicles, like the Brazilian stock car and some other not as popular style of racing, other vehicles of racing, classes of racing, than the ones that are the most popular. And so I think with this update, I'd like to see a continuation of this trend. I think what we've seen with this GT3 update is that AMS2 can compete. It can hang with the top dogs when it comes to tin tops, when it comes to doing something other than the niche category of open-wheeled racing and those, strange, esoteric, other kind of race series. And so getting away from those and really diving deeper into GT3, I want to see this class expanded. Right now, there are only 3 liveries to choose from between the McLaren 720S, the Mercedes AMG that I am currently in, and then also the Porsche 911. And so, of course, you want to see the car list expanded. I would love to see a GTR. I would love to see a 488. And I would love to see, a Bentley, But really, I would love to see the Aston Martin more than the Bentley. But I just the point being, I would love to see more cars introduced soon. I have no idea if there is a plan to do that. I don't think they've announced anything. But surely just releasing 3 cars for the initial update, there must be a plan behind it. There must be a step forward. But since it's not been announced, I think it's fair for us to continue to speculate on where that could go. I am hoping very much that there is a improved AI system specifically. We talked about that a lot, but I hope there is an improved a dedication to this GT series of racing than any other series that they've got currently, because they could attract so much popularity with these cars and with these tracks that they've had as the DLC has been coming out, as the season has been going. They have been making some very top tier content as it goes, and they've been expanding the base. To encounter everything from LMP racing, open wheels. Now we have the GT series, as well as Brazilian stock cars and other, strange kind of tin tops. So they're getting to the point now where they have everything kind of covered. And I would like to see next this GT3 series expanded. I really, really, really would like to see a little bit more official licensing. I guess that's kind of the direction I would like this to head. The one problem I have with those open wheel cars is that you can't help but feel like they're a knockoff version of those open wheel Formula One racers, because there's no licensing to any of the organizations, to any of the manufacturers, and so you get this illegitimate knockoff kind of experience when racing those cars that makes it feel like I can't take it as seriously as I want to. But with this GT3 series of cars, I have that suspension of disbelief, so to say, behind the wheel of this car, to make it feel like I'm behind the wheel, so to say, of an actual GT3 car and not a car that's kind of like it. And so I want that direction to continue, because it makes me feel that the sim is more legitimate as I'm playing it. It makes me feel as though I am actually driving a fake race car as opposed to playing a video game. And I think that AMS2, with its force feedback system, with the immersion in the environments, we are really seeing an opportunity for David to grow into a Goliath, so to say. I think we've now seen a lot of work has been done to make a wide range of content, but I think now they could really, really, really blow the doors off the competition by getting this GT series strengthened. And I think a lot of it is going to be based on whether they can and cannot license officially, because it does add so much more to the racing to see Mercedes AMG on the side of these cars. when they pass you and when you pass them, then just if, for example, the open-wheeled cars, or even I think the best example is the LMP1 cars, because the LMP1 cars are not officially licensed by any manufacturer. They're, you know, these kind of knockoff fake LMP1 cars that aren't racing in the World Endurance Series. So even though the force feedback is great, the immersion is great, the feeling of the track is great, the reproduction between Hockenheim and Nürburgring is fantastic, it just feels like I'm playing pretend, so to say, and that is absent with this GT3 series. And so I am really looking forward to that being expanded upon, to seeing what direction this game will go in, specifically because I felt like they were sitting on a cash crop with Project Cars 2, as well as a fantastic sim, and that was, of course, the ball was dropped with Project Cars 3. And so now that Slightly Mad has, you know, running on this madness engine for AMS2, I have such high hopes for where this can go, and especially for the content that they've already created and what they've shown us that they can do. But anyway, I appreciate you guys for stopping by. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, a like and a subscribe would be great. We got 2 videos coming out every week. We'll see you in the future. That was weird.